Hello, everyone. Mailbag preview show is back for 2024, episode 289. Joined by a full group today. Everyone's back and fresh and ready to go. Pete, how we going? How was the New Year little break there?
It was pretty much straight through. There was plenty of ordinary racing from Perth for the last, it just never ends. Yeah, backed a few winners, backed a lot of losers. It's a good start to the year. I'm looking forward to actually dipping my toe back into the Victorian water, though. It seems like it's far easier to back winners over here. So, all aboard the lane train, right?
That's certainly how I see it. What was it like? What was Munamek and Ollie like?
Oh, it was ridiculous. Like I may as well not even go to the races ever again. Like top that racing Victoria. How are you ever
So
going to
it
beat
was
that?
it was a tippy top of your on track experiences.
Yeah. Like and
Wow.
that's the same year as going to Royal Ascot for the first time, which in terms of the quality of the race experience, again, like that's really difficult to beat. But how are you going to beat just I think there's probably what 7 or 8 thousand people on course, and I don't think I've heard a louder cheer on course than that. Um, and just the sheer ludicrous last three on the card,
The
ridiculous
ludicrous
nature.
steam too, the big steam for it late. This made no sense if you do like form, but you kind of wanted to follow it in for the fairy
Yeah.
tale.
And what makes Ollie a great rider? Like it summed up exactly why he was such a good rider. He's found the best part of the track. He's just hunted the run. He knew exactly what he needed to do. He knew the horse that he had underneath him, pitting the gap, and away we go.
He made two people look a bit silly too. The young bloke on the second horse who thought he'd won, and
Yeah,
the golden tonsils of Western Australia. He missed it.
yeah. And I was watching. I was probably one off the mounting yard fence, and I just thought, at the 250, I thought, oh, here we go. And then, yeah, as soon as he got that gap, I was annoyed I wasn't betting in run. I'll put it that way.
It was amazing, hey?
Yeah.
Truly amazing
Ollie
moment
even
in
made his
sport.
Ollie made his way over here for the Karaka Millions. Him and Glenn Boss just did an exhibition gallop around Ellerslie, so that was a treat. But, but
You
they
know,
were
I've got a lot of thoughts on the Entain stuff, but I'm just going to keep them to myself for now.
all right.
Probably
And
was.
Yeah.
and Jack, how you doing?
Awesome. Life's good.
Yeah.
We've got two yearlings, John. One's pretty much done. The Yes, Yes, Yes colt that's gone to Gay and Adrian, and a really nice Kingman colt that we're going to send to
You're
Nathan
chill.
Doyle. Oh, yeah. Fuck.
You like Kingman.
I want to buy a Kingman, but probably have to wait a couple of years. Yeah, a really nice Churchill colt who's a proper stallion overseas, and I think will sort of fruit here in the next little bit. East Side Attrition, who's a really, really nice horse. Um, yeah, so that's quite exciting. We were able to buy it at the Magics, and that was sort of where my January was sort of consumed.
Mm.
And the next sale is the classic sale now. There might be one we get involved with from Karaka, but yeah, the Bloodstock side's going really well. I think we've done a good job so far. Hopefully this year's as good as last year was.
And we did pick up a little Savabeel gelding as well from the English digital sale. They paid 160 for, I think, at the Cracker Yearling sales a couple of years ago. Cruise Missile.
And
It's
then did they buy it to race here again?
it raced here. It won a listed race in New Zealand, and then they sent it over to Australia, and then we picked it up.
Yeah, that's just a nice, easy trot horse. Like
Mm.
ridden so poorly its last two, upside down, suicidal tempos. It goes to Jesus, likely improves, will improve its tactics, will improve its rider. If it doesn't improve, I can't see how we don't make money. If it does, it could be a hell of a lot of fun.
Indeed. Rob, how you going? Big day out at Kenzo yesterday.
A rare bird. Been getting killed at Kenzo, been getting killed in the maidens, and of course, I lowered the staking, and of course, they all won. Often happens with me. Um, Shout out to Tom Papley, shareholder in the winner of the first. You rarely see a horse with a raging boner like that
And there's a
win.
proper piece he was packing too. And you rarely see a yard judge pull the trigger on a, a first start colt with one of the great pieces of all time.
Well,
Elite
yeah,
behavior from you and the horse.
never getting beat, was it? Look, it wasn't. wasn't my main play in the race. I can't, wobble my head too hard. I also like the look of the Masara horse in the race. It was probably a slug, but
I
yeah,
haven't heard
Damon's
anything about that
Damon's
horse. What was that called?
Dale.
yeah, Dale. Yeah, Dale.
Narrative.
Anyway, well, I think Tom's got a good one for sure. I think it can only improve its manners, and it's probably the horse to follow out of the meeting yesterday. But yeah, Summer's been pretty, can be pretty average for me. It has been. We've just about, with yesterday, sort of level it up. But looking forward to seeing the good horses.
Yeah.
Bit of a unknown sire, the Tom Pepley's one, Calix.
That's his first Australian winner. So,
by Kingman,
mm,
Calix.
What is Calyx?
What is it in general?
I'll chat
No,
just
just where's it run? Like I've never heard of that horse.
Royal Ascot, unbeaten Royal Ascot Group 2 winning 2-year-old,
Yeah.
and brilliant sprinter at 3. So it doesn't sound like it did overly much. But the headline
On a 40-horse field.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
it refers to the outermost whirl of a flower.
What a pansy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a pansy.
He was looking for a flower yesterday.
He was looking for something.
Something to
Might have been
pollinate.
soft in betting, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
We'll get straight into the racing, eh? We've got 3
It's like the
races.
first day at school, and I was going to be stupid, and I shouldn't.
Yeah, it does feel a bit like that. We've got 3 races from Rosehill we'll take a look at, and a couple from Caulfield, and then we'll have some best bets at the end. We'll start off the best bet sort of tally as well at the end and see how we go this season.
Are we going to restart that again, are we?
We're going to reset that, yeah. Jack narrowly won last season.
You don't need to report on the margins. I won.
Yeah, I deleted the spreadsheet, so I couldn't tell you what they were anyway.
I gave up after Mr. Brightside got beat. Knew I was cooked.
There was something else 2 weeks
I
in
was
a row.
I was home if that had won.
Oh, well. Race 4, Rosehill, the Southern Cross Stakes, 1,200 metres, Group 3. Rob, you might as well start us off. Talk about the grey horse.
The fastest son of High Chaparral. Baller. I haven't seen him for a couple of years. I guess he's found his level. He kind of proved me right that he was a good horse winning in Melbourne and Brisbane. But when I was backing him in Sydney, he wasn't winning. How does this race set up? Looks like there's reasonable speed. Doesn't look like he'll get the best map. Who knows how Rosehill's going to play? I'll let the people who do that tell me tomorrow. Haven't done any form at all. Lady Laguna was a good win the other day. She's a real honest little trier. I think the thing, Crystal Lily's is that in the race?
Down at the bottom, yeah.
Yeah, that's a real yard watch, that horse. Paraded awful both runs last campaign.
And ran awful.
Ran awful and was well in the market. So I'm keen to have a look at that as, Baller will probably run well but not win. I thought his runs in Brisbane were pretty good, and but as I said, he's sort of found his level, but there's not many better looking horses going around in Australia than him.
Rails out 6 metres, Peter. What's your feel there?
On pace inside, off the top of my head. I was just looking at what price Malkovich was. Small field, will lead. Winkin's first time's interesting though, after the 32 starts. Anyway, I haven't looked at these races, so Sydney racing at the best of times, like this is just almost like just a precursor to actually getting interested in Sydney racing again. It's a very, very long process for me. So yeah, play on.
He's interesting though, got that good SP versus Cat2 last start, and Najim Sahale. Najim Sahale's continued to run well down here. Little tick over between runs. I think the chink with him is that he doesn't seem to fire at Rosehill, but we're waiting to be guided by the Whisperer.
Yeah, and 1,200 might be a bit far, and he might have just lost the zest for the battle.
Well, that's why we get the Mounting Mail. Like you'll tell me about the zest. How zesty is he? Hopefully, it's not as zesty as Pap's horse, but some zest.
Yeah. All right.
All right, perfect. That'll do us for race 4 then. Race 9 will jump to benchmark 88, 1200 meters. Who was up favourite? I did have a look there. Our Kobe son for James McDonald, Angela Davies. Very, well, reasonably short favourite. Have you seen that horse before, Rob? Or does it ring a bell?
We had a decent crack on it when it won first up over 1,000 meters at Warwick Farm. That was in late last year, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't first up, but August. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. August last year. So it struck me. It kind of drifted that day with a bit of JMac on. So it was a scary bet at the sort of the price at the time. I think it's progressive. I think. I think it's I think it's progressive. But I think the stable's slightly. It's always heavily backed, as is the jockey. So, I'll be looking to bet around it, just for those reasons. But there's a lot of horses here that have found their level. Very keen to have a look at this Dipsy Doodle. We backed her to win her maiden at Warwick Farm on a Wednesday. Backed her a couple of times. Be interesting to see how she comes back. She's second favourite in the market. Sneaky Page back into form. Delalat will be in the numbers for sure. Backed him many, many times. He seems to be going really well. Another huge run from him last start. So at the prices, who knows what they'll end up being, because they're right now they're at 130%. So it's hard to get involved.
Done a good job with that Dullahard. He paid 40 grand for that in 2020. It's won 300k plus races.
And looks like a proper Saturday horse. I know Darren Plendell's part of the ownership group. Good luck, Darren.
Small sample size for J-Mac and Angela Davies, but 7 runners, 6 winners, 85.7%.
That will be factored into the market, and the horse will be short.
Anyone else got anything to add there?
Nah, no. I mean, look,
Sneaky Page is nommed in Melbourne too, Peter.
That's the interest, isn't it, for just the speed map, trying to work out where they all settle. Although you'd think that our Kobe son, if it's playing on pace, J-Mac has that draw advantage over, say, a Delalat. So, he can just put the horse into the race and track across on the outside of, that's assuming he's a gentleman, goes forward to try and lead with Jet on board. But I'm not sure I'd be trusting Jet Stanley too much in terms of the speed map. Anyway, no interest.
All right. The last race we'll have a look at is the last race 10, benchmark 72, 1200 meter. Rob, there was something you were keen to talk about in this race, a horse?
Yeah, I got our man Gary. He sent me the update for this horse, Black Card, before it ran at Wyong. And thanks, Gary, you did that, because it pissed in that day at a decent price, sitting outside the lead. We had a look. It won again. I think again sitting outside lead, which I give an extra tick to a horse that can do that. So I think it's progressive. It's meeting, it's only a little thing. That's my only concern. Has it had enough? Keen to see how it parades, and showing those signs that it does want to get to the battle. Botanic has been one of mine, but I think it's kind of found its level. I was filthy we didn't back it on the night meeting a while back, because we backed it the start before when it ran second. Steffi Magnetica ran in Melbourne last start. What did you think, Jack? Good performance?
Dot ball.
Okay, well, this thing, we should get a price with the Black Cloud. Jay Ford rides. Again, the market doesn't like Jay Ford, but this is a go forward horse, so he doesn't have to think too much.
Just eyeballing it, it looks pretty likable. It's a pretty fat number. It's run out wide.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm
17th best last 200 pistol of the meeting, leading.
OSL.
Both
OSL
fast
and
tempos. Yeah.
I got a feeling the thing that was sitting outside of, was ended up back in the field, just knocked up. Anyway, that's from
Second
memory.
horse, Firestar for Snowden's, has come out and run second again.
Well,
Bit of fresh blood here. Out wide. I like this a lot.
Well, it's my bet of the meeting. It's my pick over Baller.
VC, a bit of an interesting runner.
Excuses last start, like 2 or 3 genuine ones.
Hmm.
Big fat SP to start prior behind Ginger and Pink, who I think is pretty good.
It's even $12 versus Cylinder, Group 3 vein.
Yeah, that was probably the wrong price though, in hindsight. But they drop away pretty quickly behind Ginger and Pink, and the form out of that race, they've all gone backwards, like essentially. Like Jambalaya, God, welcome back. Jambalaya has maintained its number but run fourth. Like the winners ran second after winning and gone back 3 lengths. I don't think it's an outstanding form line, and it's not a horse that you like. Oh, I'm that interested in. I think Rob's found the winner.
All right, he might be off to a good start in the competition. Jack might even
Yeah,
piggyback
I'm
one.
thinking about following him in. I'll try and talk him into Baller. I'll take it. Baller run second, it'll win. And it'll be perfect time to send Rob on a head spin because he's finished for the day. Doesn't affect anyone's betting, but I really inside his melon straight off the bat.
You're a cruel man.
I'm sick.
All right, we'll head to Caulfield then for the 2 Group 3s that are on the card there. Race 4, 1,000-meter scamper for the 2-year-olds. Peter, was it you saying pre-filming that there's a dead set moral? Was that your words?
Oh, just purely off ratings. And like again, I'll wait to see what our man Lindsay Bowles has found out of the trials and see if there is anything of any interest there. Just eyeballing the market, it doesn't really look like it. The last start performance of Anisa, 4 wide, no colour. I know like the track was reasonably even and so forth, but just purely off the ratings, it's got a significant length advantage on the putting film data over what Coleman produced on debut. And I was in the yard for Coleman. He was absolutely tuned up to the minute. I think my comment at the time was he would want to win today because there's nothing left of him here, and he's not an overly big type either. So I'm not exactly sure if he would have grown going forward. So Anisa for me clearly starts favourite. I know it's just a narrow favourite at the moment, but I think it starts even shorter.
I reckon we backed this horse. Was it the day that Just Folk won the Group 3?
Anisa?
Stand by. We did, yeah.
That's a fucking spotter in here.
Eclipse. Yep,
Yeah.
it was.
It was a good win that
It was
day.
firm late. It was very impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I thought it would be that open and not so much shorter, Peter, but like a lot shorter than the others.
Yeah.
I think it's about the right price because there's progression and there's regression in these sort of horses, and there's a bit of fresh blood, and there's Sydney form and shit like that. But I thought it would be a more defined favourite than it is. I'm just sort of going to go over it probably after this show again, have another look at it. And if I did pull the trigger in this race, that'd be the horse for sure. Yeah, the chink with it is there's 0 form out of the Merson Cooper thus far.
No, but out of the Ottawa Stakes at
Yes.
Flemington, that's red hot.
That's red hot. That's right. And she started 4:20 there. So, yeah, I think she's drawn perfectly for D Lane.
Yeah,
I'd rather be.
He also tried to lead on her last start, didn't he? And he ended up having to restrain because there was about 5 of them going for it early. So, yeah, expect he's able to cross her at worst breeze there.
Which you'd think brings about the good rating, but then you look at it a little bit deeper, and that rating comes from its last 600, which makes it more impressive, potentially to my eye. So yeah, it'll definitely start favourite Anisa.
You can somewhat line up there the 1 and the 2, both about a length better than the Arabian Summer. And these are in the Ottawa, and then Coleman, and that's what it was, the debutante.
I thought an interesting horse is the Blue Point Colt for Ma, Scampy. It was soft late, but it was cleaned up a bit early, and it started, $3 in the end of September and failed. didn't get beat. It failed like something might have gone amiss. So
Poor recovery.
yeah, so those horses can sort of bounce pretty quickly. I mean, it goes like he's a good young rider, D Gibbons, but he's not Mark Zara. Mark Zara goes on, change a leg, maybe it can improve. I thought.
Rob, do you remember Scampy? Were you there for the breeders?
I
In the Golden
was
Gift.
I was there, but I can't place it. Sorry.
I don't know why that is.
I don't know.
Probably
I've
not a
usually
good
got a
one,
good.
of course.
I remember them. Usually if I've got a good story or a bad story involved with them, so maybe
So it's a dot ball.
so it's a dot, or maybe I didn't back it, and from him, yeah, I'll have to go rewatch the race and recalibrate my mind on back to that day.
All right, all good. We'll move on to race 8, Balmain, the Jeffrey Balmain Stakes, over 1,200 meters, Group 3 for me. Group 3 for mares.
So 4-year-olds and up.
Yeah. Wrote to Arataki. I think you've been on a couple of times, Jack, from memory. A Little Deep has that real good Lazy Susan form.
Grouse form.
What do
Lucky to
we
beat
think?
us that day.
Yeah, we were held up like no tomorrow.
As bad as you can ever get held up.
Yeah.
Be the way I'd describe that.
Initial thoughts of this race?
That there's moderate speed and it's a really even event. I think Penthouse probably rolls forward. This is the race that Sneaky Page is still in at the moment. Pistol, I think it'll go forward if it runs from the wide gate. Nakoni thereabouts. Cute As and Rich Fortune can get really good runs from decent barriers. The same story, a little deep. Party for One might try and kick up. That's that also put a few together. Maybe last prep, Blake Shin, couple at Flemington potentially.
Yeah.
Yep. I think Vagrant will be worse than midfield. With California's Surreal and Rote Tarataki first up from 9, I think goes back on this map. I think the race is super even. I don't have a lot of opinion that's going to interest anyone. Californian Surreal trialled real nice. Nakoni's trialled well. Party for One okay, but in good heats. Rote Tarataki, haven't seen a trial, but they trialled that. I think it's from Warrnambool, so how would you know? I think it's too short, Rote Tarataki. I don't want to be where it's going to be in run. If I had to have a bet, it'd probably be Rich Fortune, who I think is going to get PR here and has a bit of a fitness edge on its rivals. But I really like A Little Deep as a horse, and I think it's going to deliver at some stage. And you'd think potentially from barrier 3, it could be birthday stuff, but for whatever reason, John Allen's riding it, and I think potentially because Zara probably doesn't get to 56 very easily this time of year. I'd sort of promote it and get it a little bit shorter and make it a bet if it was Mark Zara. I love John Allen. I just don't like him from inside draws as much as I like him from an outside draw.
All right.
Or basically, don't really have a view.
Yeah.
Because of all those views.
You'd have to think the Rote Tarataki sort of form lines that it's through is a bit superior to like A Little Deep. A Little Deep's probably a bit more progressive, but
yeah, but you haven't seen it trial. It's drawn 9. First up, last prep from barrier 3. It was second last in run. Then it went forward. Then it went forward. Then it went forward. When it wins, it goes forward, and it's got a pattern of first up being negative. And it's also probably a 400 meter horse at this level, and this is not a 400 meter race. So, I think it's a hole in the market, but I can't sort of stamp something to back at the same time.
I was going to have something on Penthouse. I just like the win first up. I know it's a highway, but I thought the figure was pretty good given the profile of that horse. Leads here, Jordan Childs on board. The only wrinkle, I went looking for Matty Dale's stats at Caulfield. I think he's 1 from 25, which, small knock. I think it starts shorter. So that was the way I was leaning.
It's certainly the map horse, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it will start shorter than 9, which you can get freely available now. Especially if Sneaky Page runs in Sydney, it's obviously you'll get some deductions, but that really just simplifies the map even further. So I know the conditions at Caulfield obviously perfect for racing, but I wouldn't be surprised if it plays a little bit on pace.
Okay.
So
It's a good, what you said spot on when you look at it. Hey, like it's a highway, but it's a pretty hot highway.
yeah, and that figure, just given its overall profile, like that's a pretty good first up figure for it. There's every chance it elevates off that.
What about the horse that ran third there? Blow Dart. What a name.
Load up. One
One,
Saturday.
we're talking highways. Why haven't I got a bloody look in? This is my specialty.
I don't know.
Tell me
I was
about
gonna ask
Penthouse,
you.
big boy.
I think did that win when I was off? Where did it win at
I
Rosehill?
was just trying to work out. It's the 13th of Jan, so I don't know if you're on the track or not.
No, I wasn't. I don't think I was. Or maybe that was one of the highways that I lost in. But been going well in highways. That's what I'm trying to say.
Can you talk about Penthouse?
I'm trying to
Basically, you've called for the
He's
called
put
for
his
the
hand
nut.
up and
You
he-
say like, feed me the nut out wide. I want to talk about Penthouse. Actually, I wasn't there, but I do win. I do win the highways.
Well, you brought up Blow Dart, which we were on last week, which was a very good result. So yeah, Blow Dart he's a good benchmark for highway horses. I feel if Blow Dart's in the race, he generally runs top 4 and he's always in the top weights. Yeah, look, Penthouse. I just can't fucking place it.
And
Anyway,
I'm searching it now, Rob, so I can tell you exactly what you said. Race 3, Rosehill on the 13th of Jan. It was horse number, bear with me, number 1. You said Coat Glowing forward first up.
Okay, forward
There you
first up. So, it's probably got next start. I don't. Why wasn't I on it?
Because it was $1.70 or so.
Okay.
Small bet on Blow Dart, good
And
order.
Blow Dart
Oh,
was in
mate.
the race. I was going to tell you why you weren't on it, because Blow Dart was in the race, and we spoke yesterday, and you were talking about Blow Dart. That's why I said Blow Dart to get you going, and it got you going.
Yeah. Well, look, I obviously I loved it, and but I just can't back it at $1.70. Blow Dart was probably $10 or something.
Yeah. There it is. Full stop.
All right. That'll do. I was talking about Penthouse. Should we move on to the best bets? Rob,
Sure.
yours is pretty obvious, I think.
I think the structure needs to be that the leader goes first, so you can't like get a lead and just copy, right? And what we're playing for is the winner. When we convene as a group, the winner will get a very special treat paid for by me.
Okay. So not on the expense account.
Maybe. Approved by me. Can I say that then?
Yeah, approved.
Approved by me.
Okay.
A very special treat.
I'm just
the next
thinking,
time,
dude, where's my car? Special treats.
What about dude, where's my suit?
So we will announce when we do plan to convene, when we know when that is, and that will be the conclusion of this round of our tipping comp. As last year's champion, who didn't get any sort of prize, I don't think. And Pete, you stole me a suit jacket, actually, now that we're talking about betting.
Yeah, it's in the mail.
In the mail. I will kick off and I will head to Moonee Valley on Friday night, and I will have a bet on race 2, number 3, Mr. Marrakesh for PG Moody. It'll lead, it'll kick, and let's pray to all the gods, Zeus, Allah, Buddha, Bilbo Baggins, Ablett Senior and Junior, that it holds on.
Alrighty. Colleen Hiffel there.
Flying.
What? Decent price. Oh, $4. Nice. All right. Rob, you want to go next?
Yep, around the $3 mark. I'm on race 10, number 14, the Black Cloud at Rosehill. J Ford, good gate, should ping, kick, hold on, win.
All right, Pete.
How does this work? So is this like a level
It's a
staking
pot.
sort of?
You win by a pot.
$100 Betfair SP.
So my strategy, Peter, is like $4 minimum early, you want to try and land a blow or two, then you're looking to protect that lead. That's what I did last time. And then Rob will sort of go from a $3 shot today. If it's hopefully it wins, but if it lost next week, it'll be a $6 or $7 shot, and eventually you'll hit double figures.
Yeah. Well, I've got absolutely Rob, but I also tipped something $11 on a Thursday, Pete. That a really good filly for the Hawks team in the yellow colours in the Calendar Presnell race. Started $4. Was recorded at $4.
Well, we can record at SP this. Why don't we do this at SP? Like, I mean, at the price we take now.
Who's going to keep track of deductions?
That's the only.
Yeah, that's a job.
Or are we doing the New Zealand tab? No deductions.
Yeah, wow.
Jono, you decide that bit of the rules.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Pete?
And we can't back more than one horse, obviously. We can't go
No,
I'm going to have like
and one only.
Yeah. Okay.
We did do each ways were allowed.
Which I didn't like, but we allowed it.
Yeah. I just at the price, because Anisa's 250. I do like Penthouse, but that's more just like an odds bet. I think the best winning chance on the card that will start shorter is race 5, Punch Lane. Just wrong part of the track last start. Goes D more to M Zara. That's all I need, right? Full stop. Punch Lane.
Well, when you consider that he went into an inferior part of the track last start in the last race of the day on that horse, it is a significant upgrade, I'd think.
Yeah.
That's how I read it, Peter. I'm with you.
There was one winner inside the 4 lanes in the straight there at Sandown last time. And yeah, he went to lane 3 in a very slowly run race.
From, I believe, the Coffin or the 1-1, but he could have had either because the horse has gate speed. Yeah, that was probably one of the more frustrating experiences of January for me, actually. And thanks for bringing that back up.
Yeah.
That was the one you brought up on your review, was it? On your on your Zoom review?
Private, confidential, can't remember.
All right, and now I'll go to New Plymouth. Pretty boring looking meeting after Crack a Million last week. Race 8, number 2, Lord Weyburn. Vinnie Colgan and Chad Ormsby are a very good combination at the moment. I think they're going at 29% when they combine. This horse looks pretty good, stepping up to the 1800, and it is $7 at the moment.
So that's Jono's bet in New Zealand. Mine's Moonee Valley Friday night, race 2, number 3. Rob is the last race at Rosehill on Saturday. I think the bottom horse in the good silks for Joe Pride. Pistols, Punch Lane, Mark Zara. It'll punch up. It'll be in the coffin. That's us, the Mailbag preview show. We're back for 2024. Horses available. If you want to get involved in Mailbag Bloodstock, email Jono, Jono, at themailbag.com.au. We've got a horse for every single budget. Well, we don't have a horse if you're completely minted and want a proper big boy yearling that you can just dust some cash on. We don't have that, but we've got almost everything else. Have a phenomenal weekend. I enjoyed this, boys, and we'll be back next week on Thursday to preview wherever they're racing. Bye for now.
Jack, need a new T-shirt.
Group 3
winners.
Group
winners.
3 syndicators.
Winners.
Stand by. We've got a couple of nice horses about to. Could be a big autumn.
Good
Group
day.
2. I think might have a Group 2 run next weekend.